Welcome to the part 2 of Fiber to Fabric. So what are we going to learn today? Today we'll see the journey of a silk moth. So unlike earlier videos, today we don't have any quiz for you. So we'll straight away start with the first step of the journey of a silk moth. So the first step is that the female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs, and these eggs are wrapped into paper or tissue and handed over to the rearers. Next, these rearers keep these eggs into a suitable environment or the suitable temperature so that they can hatch and the larva comes out of the eggs. Now this larva or the white larva is also called as the caterpillar or the silkworm. Now once it comes out of the eggs, it starts eating the mulberry leaves, and it does so for a continuously for a number of days, something around 30 to 40 days. So for 30 to 40 days this larva or the silkworm continuously eats the mulberry leaves, and it grows bigger and bigger in size. Now once it has grown sufficiently for 30 to 40 days, this silk larva or the silkworm weaves a net around itself so that it doesn't fall out of the mulberry tree, and it starts spinning its head into a shape of 8. And during this process it releases a protein from its mouth, and this protein when comes in contact of the air turns into a solid fibers. So now this caterpillar continuously rotates its head in the shape of 8, and it completely encloses itself inside a mesh of fibers, and this mesh of fiber is called cocoon. Now once the caterpillar or the silkworm is completely inside the cocoon, it starts growing into a pupa after some time and finally into a silk moth. Now the next step is that these cocoons are boiled into the hot water, or they can also be steamed or put into the strong sunlight so that the silk fibers are separated out from the pupa. Now in the last process called reeling, the special machines are used which first unspun the fibers from the cocoon, and then they spun those unspun fibers into the long threads of silk. So this process is called reeling, where the special machines are used first to unspun the fibers from the cocoon, and then finally they spun that unspun fiber into the long thin fibers of silk. Now just like we dyed the wools, we can also dye the silk into the different colors. And in the last step, these fibers are woven into the silk fabrics. So let's look at the whole process again. So the process starts with the female silk moth, which lays hundreds of eggs, and these eggs are hatched and a larva comes out of these eggs, and this larva feeds onto the mulberry trees for a number of days, and then this larva spuns a cocoon around itself, and it starts growing inside the cocoon, and it turns into a pupa and then into a silk moth after some time. Now these cocoons are first boiled into the hot water to separate out the silk fiber, and then reeled using the special machine which first unspun the cocoon fibers and then finally spun into the silk fibers. So this process is called reeling, and we also dye the silk fibers before they are woven into the silk fabrics, and this whole process is called sericulture. So the sericulture is a process by which we get the silk from the silk moth. Now we have a small story for you. There was an empress in China called Si Lungchi, and she was asked by the emperor to look into the garden and find out the reason means why their mulberry trees were getting damaged. So she went into the garden and noticed that some white insect or white worm was eating their mulberry leaves. So she also noticed that some of the white insects were spinning their some fibers around their body, and a cocoon fell inside the cup of tea she was carrying, and once it fell into the cup of tea, she noticed that the fibers were separated out from the insect. And when she looked at the fibers, she found that the fibers were very strong and shiny. And this was the discovery of silk. And the Chinese secretly guarded this, and they kept the secret of the silk for many years. But after some times, they started trading the silk with the other countries, and the traders used a route to travel to the other countries to sell their silk, and that route was called Silk Route. Okay. So before we end, we have a question for you. So what are the different varieties of silk you know? So if you know the answer, just write down your answer in the comments below, and if you don't know the answer, look at the description below. All right. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video on heat. Bye.